First, we had to deal with zombies. Then we had to face dinosaurs. But these weren't your typical run-of-the-mill dinosaurs. Nope. They were cybernetically enhanced dinosaurs that were decked out with integrated weaponry. They were almost something you would face on the old kids' TV show, Dino Riders. What next? Zombie dinosaurs? That would just be too much to handle. Greetings and welcome back to Checkpoint Gaming, Gaslands Legacy. With this episode, we will be going over Chapters 3, 4, and 5. With Chapter 3, Rush Hour, the players are to play the zombie bat scenario found in the core rulebook, but with the addition of the refrigerator and something's rotten scenario rules. And at the end of the scenario, read through the post-game section.
Before the forced shutdown, getting to and from work at the facility always involved the occasional run-in with the shambling radioactive ghouls. They don't call these the irradiated states of America for nothing. However, the highway is heaving with neon green glowies. You've never seen so many in one place. Are there more than normal? Is something drawing them here? You leave the highway towards the hills to the southeast, where distant buildings promise temporary sanctuary if you can break through the horde.
With the refrigerator scenario rule, during setup for this chapter, place a refrigerator, crate, barrel, or vending machine into the center of the table. But regardless of the item being used, it is referred to as the refrigerator. During the game, and the vehicle's movement template or final position touches this object, then said vehicle will have picked up said item, which is to be placed onto the vehicle's dashboard. But when this vehicle wrecks, then the vehicle's controller will have to place this item onto the play area touching the wreck. With the something drawn scenario rule, before the chapter begins, have the player who possesses the lowest total corrosion unlock a clue using the code word falling down, one word, and keep the content of this information secret from the other players. And if there is a tie, the lowest total corrosion level, a roll-off is to occur. The Rush Hour post-game consists of the following components. First, if a player ends the chapter with a refrigerator on one of their vehicle's dashboards, then they are able to unlock a clue using the code chilled hooch, one word, followed by reading the content aloud to the other players. Second, if a vehicle doesn't scrapper during the chapter, then one corrosion will be marked upon it. Third, the player who has the lowest total corrosion will roll one template improvement, with all players gaining the roll template improvement. If there is a tie, the lowest total corrosion level, a roll-off is to occur. Fourth, all teams will gain a new movement template that is known as the donut, with each player printing out a copy of this template for their respective team and add it to their staff templates. The donut template can be downloaded from gaslands.com/legacy/donut. Fifth, each vehicle will gain one mutation. Sixth, with the players who won this chapter, they will get to unlock a clue by using the code SPLATTER and keep the content of this information secret from the other players. Seventh, the player with the highest total corrosion will get to unlock a clue by using the code IronMan, one word, and keep the content of the information secret from the other players. If there's a tie regarding the highest total corrosion, the tie players will roll off. And eighth, each player will recalculate their given team rating. Once this chapter has been completed, proceed to Chapter 4, where some dinosaur toys will be needed. For Chapter 4, Dino Park, the players are to play the big game hunter scenario found in the core rulebook, but use the toy dinosaurs that have been obtained to replace the creatures from the initial scenario. At the beginning of this chapter, read the following section aloud, and at the end of this chapter, read through the post-game section.
You scramble to flee the seemingly endless hordes of lurid green shamblers. As you bounce towards the apparent sanctuary of the once elegant hotel buildings on the dusty hills ahead, you barely notice the collapsed electrical fences. The fragments you can see are probably 18 feet high. If this was a holiday resort, it must have been pretty exclusive. You approach the buildings and see the twisting bird necks of the Genesis logo just moments before the lead vehicle is smashed aside by the colossal head of a Tyrannosaurus, ropes of drool glistening in its braying jaws. The Genesis Dino Parks closed in the early 90s. The dinosaurs couldn't have survived here for 30 years unnoticed, could they? Also, you don't remember the dinosaurs in the old commercials having shoulder-mounted flamethrowers. There is another earth-shaking roar, and another. The last one came from behind you.
The dinosaurs and corrosion drool scenario rules are also applied. For the dinosaur scenario rule, the dinosaur creatures found in this scenario will have to follow the following special rules and rule changes. During the game, they possess the up and over special rule. When a creature is activated, the controlling player will have to select from the templates that are available to said player. And when a creature is involved in a collision, that occurs outside of its activation, and it will always declare a smash attack as its reaction. There are also 4 core rule updates that are to be applied here. These 4 updates also count as erratas of the core game. First, update the giant radioactive creatures so that it reads, when a creature is attacked or is involved in a collision as outside of its activation, then it counts as being in Gear 3. This replaces the text, when attacked, they evade if they are in Gear 3. Second, the rule pertaining to enrage in the core rulebook is replaced, merely following the activation of a non-creature vehicle where a creature was a target of an attack that caused 2 or more damage to said creature, then said creature will activate. When activated, it's done by the player that caused the creature to activate. And if multiple creatures are triggered to activate in a single activation, then the player that triggered the activation will choose one creature to activate activate with the other creatures remaining inactive. Third, add the pinned in special rule to all of the creatures. With being pinned in, the creatures are unable to leave the play area. So if a creature's movement or final position would cause it to overlap the edge of the play area, the movement is interrupted at the given point. Also do not resolve a collision with the play area edge. And fourth, add the Berserk special rule to all of the creatures. With Berserk, after a creature moves and any vehicle is found within range of a turret-mounted flamethrower, then it'll have to attack the target with that weapon. It'll also have to place the template in such a manner as to hit the maximum number of vehicles possible. And if there are multiple valid options present, then choice is left up to the controlling player. Creatures will also ignore the distracted rule. With the corrosive pool scenario rule, the first time that each of the vehicles take damage from any of the creatures during the chapter, the affected vehicle will receive 1 corrosion. With the Dino Park postgame, it consists of the following components. First, each vehicle will gain 1 mutation. Second, any player that scored at least 1 kill during the chapter will have to select one of their vehicles and note that the vehicle has dinosaur blood found upon its windshield. Third, the player who has the lowest total corrosion will roll 1 template improvement, with all the players gaining the roll template improvement. And if there is a tie, the lowest total corrosion level, a roll-off is to occur. Fourth, each player will have to combine 2 other templates which is laid out under unpredictable performance. And fifth, each player is to calculate their new team rating. Once this chapter has been completed, proceed to chapter 5. With the unpredictable performance rule change, whenever a rule instructs the player to combine 2 templates, then they will have to roll 2d6 and then select 2 different templates. With the selection of these templates, they are determined by the result of the die roll, where one template possesses a permitted gear printed on it and is equal to one of the die rolls. With the other template, it possesses a permitted gear printed on it and is equal to the other die roll. If either die roll is a 6, then it allows the player to select any template they wish. Once the 2 templates have been selected, they will have to be combined, with the 2 templates being permanently affixed to one another so that the short starting edge of one template, which is known as the upper template, is placed in line with and centered upon the dotted line found upon the other template, which is known as the lower template. The top template will have to point in the direction as indicated by the arrow found upon the lower template. It is worth noting that the arrow found upon the upper template can face either direction. After combining the 2 templates through either gluing or taping them together, cut off any part of the lower template that's found beyond the dotted line and has been concealed by the upper template. But if playing this campaign within a virtual setting, then the players will have to skip this given aspect of the rule change. With a new template that has just been created, it will permanently form a new single movement template that can be selected during template selection for the rest of the campaign. Once the templates have been combined, either set of the visible permitted gear icons are allowed to be used, and any of the available flight exit points can be used, which include those found upon the flip side of the templates. So if the short template and the swerve template have been combined, then it can be used in gears 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With Chapter 5, Looting the Park, the players are to play the scavenger party scenario found in the core rulebook for the addition of the corrosive pools and experimental nanotech scenario rules, as well as nano-cloaking device rule change. At the beginning of the chapter, read the following section aloud, and at the end of the chapter, read through the post-game section.
As you tear across the scrubland of the main park, you see wheeling packs of mutated dinosaurs thundering across the distant slopes. You drive into the nearby forest seeking cover, and find yourself in a village of rundown supply dumps and maintenance sheds. You can't help noticing the unlooted gear peeking out from half-open crates and loose tarpaulins. It looks like this area is in active use. They might have gasoline.
With the corrosive pools scenario rule, when setting up the table for this given chapter, the players will take turns placing corrosive pools upon the play area. This placement process will continue until there are 3 corrosive pools found upon the play area. With these scenario rules, it should be represented by an item that represents a goopy or swampy piece of scenery that is roughly medium length across. They also count as treacherous terrain. The first time during the chapter that each of the vehicle's movement templates for final position overlaps any of the corrosive pools, the vehicle is to be noted as got goo on it. With the experimental nanotech scenario rule, when a vehicle is holding a crate, said vehicle will count as having the nano-cloaking device upgrade. With the nano-cloaking device rule change, it provides the nano-cloaking device as a vehicle upgrade and possesses the following special rules. First, whenever this vehicle is declared to be the target of an attack that is outside of a collision, it can choose to permanently reduce its hull value by 1 by permanently shading in one of its hull boxes in order to cloak for the remainder of the active vehicle's activation. Second, a cloaked vehicle cannot be the target of an attack. And third, the attacking vehicle can choose to select another target if one is available. With Looting the Park post-game, it consists of the following components. First, if one of the vehicles is holding a crate at the end of the chapter, then it will permanently receive the nano-cloaking device upgrade accompanied by increasing the vehicle's rating by 5 points. If a vehicle doesn't transfer during the chapter, then 1 corrosion will be marked upon it. Third, if a vehicle is noted has got goo on it, then mark 1 corrosion on it, followed by removing the note. Fourth, each vehicle will gain 1 mutation. Fifth, player who has the lowest total corrosion will roll 1 template improvement, with all players gaining the rolled template improvement. And if there is a tie for the lowest total corrosion level, a roll-off is to occur. And 6, each player is to calculate their new team rating. Once this chapter has been completed, proceed to Chapter 6. So with that said, that's what you need to know about Chapters 3, 4, and 5. With that taken care of, we can start talking about chapters 6 and 7. If you like this episode, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes we upload, go ahead and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/checkpointgaming. See you in the next episode, and happy gaming.